So remember, when you're graphing a line, your goal is to get it in the form y equals mx plus b. And once you have it in the slope-intercept form, you know your slope and your intercept. So your goal is to get y by itself. So wherever the y is, let me rewrite this here. So my y is over here with everything else on the left-hand side. I can move the other things. I can move the x and the 8 to the left, or I could simply move the y to the left. In this case, that's probably what I would do, but you could do it either way. So if I add 2y to both sides, okay, that's going to move the y's to the left-hand side. I'll have 2y, 0 plus anything is whatever that thing is. So 0 plus 2y is 2y, equals negative 5x, and then a positive 8 coming down. All right, so those two just drop down. And then you need to get the y by itself, so divide everything by 2. And then you have y equals, the negative 5 over 2 does not simplify, so just write it as a fraction with your x. 8 divided by 2 makes 4. So now I've got that one solved for y. So I'm going to take the other equation and solve that one for y as well. So again, I have options. I can move just the y over, or I can move both the other pieces over, but I think it makes more sense just to move the 2y. Okay, so it's positive 2y, so I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So it goes away here. 0 minus 2y is still negative 2y equals, and then the 6 minus 2x drops down. All right, so then the only thing left to do is divide everything by negative 2. And then I will have the y by itself. The negative 2's cancel out there. Leaves the y equals 6 divided by negative 2, negative 3. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 can simplify that to a positive 1. Positive 1x. If you have a slope of 1, you can put it 1 over 1. And so that can show you visually your rise over run. Okay, but now you just graph both of them on a graph, and then you've got your, wherever they cross is your solution. So I'm going to draw a quick graph here. And I'll graph the blue one first. So I go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put my dot. Now I could go up 5 and to the left 2, or down 5 and to the right 2. So I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to the right 2. 1, 2. Okay, so there's my blue line. And then I'm going to graph my yellow line. The B is actually the negative 3, because it's not attached to the x. So I go down 1, 2, 3, put my dot there. And then I go up 1 and to the right 1 for my slope. So up 1, right 1. Okay, now that didn't hit the blue line yet, so just continue the pattern. Up 1, right 1. All right, so now I've got where they meet. So that's all I'm looking for, is that intersection point. So the x would be positive 2, and the y would be negative 1. Okay, so remember, when you're solving a system of equations, you're looking for the point where they intersect. I'll say a little bit about number 4 here. The first equation has some fractions that might throw you off. But remember, your goal is to get y by itself. So the way I would do it here, I guess, would be to move the x over with its fraction. Okay, so let's take this term and move it to the other side. I would do that because there's already a number over there. It's the only term on the same side as the y. So if I subtract 3 over 2x to both sides, it's going to get rid of them on the right-hand side. And I'm going to have negative 3 over 2x minus 1 on the left. And then that minus 1/2 y just follows along, comes down with me. So now my goal is to get rid of that negative 1/2 in front of the y. When you have a fraction, you can multiply by the reciprocal to cancel it out. So if I multiply everything by negative 2 over 1, I'm going to multiply by the negative so that the negative times the negative on the y cancels each other out. It makes it positive. So when I do that, the 2 on top cancels with the 2 on the bottom, 1 with the 1, so the only thing that's left is the y. Okay, but I have to multiply each piece on the left-hand side by the same thing, negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1. Okay, whoops, I put a 2 on the bottom there, so negative 2 over 1. So when you multiply fractions, you do the top with the top, the bottom with the bottom. But if you notice, you have a 2 on top and a 2 on the bottom again. So those cancel each other out. And then the negative on this 2 with the negative on the 3 becomes positive, so I'm left with positive 3x. Okay, moving over to the negative 1. You got negative 2 times negative 1 over 1. So negative times negative makes it positive. 2 times 1 is 2. So there I've got it solved for y. And now you could graph it. The y is on the right-hand side. If it makes you feel better, put it on the left-hand side. It's the same thing either way. The other equation in number 4, you would just have to divide everything by 3 because you have all the other terms on the right-hand side away from the 3y. So just divide each piece by 3, and then your y would be by itself for that one. So on the back we have systems of inequalities. Remember, it starts the same way. You want to get y by itself. So let's take this over here. You move the 4x to the other side. And then we have negative y is less than or equal to negative 4x positive 1. Just list it out. Don't combine them. And then we have negative 1 in front of that y. So if we divide everything by negative 1, it's going to flip all of our signs around. Right? So the negative divided by negative is going to be positive y. It's going to flip that less than sign to a greater than sign. Still stays equal to. The negative 4 divided by negative 1, positive 4. Keep the x. Negative 1 from positive 1 divided by negative 1. And then you could go ahead and graph it, but I would also remind you to, or encourage you to tell me which, and yourself, what the line looks like. So this one's solid because it's equal to, and where the shading is. This one's above because it's greater than. Okay, the other equation, I'll just solve it right here. I'm going to subtract the x. Get that out of there. We have negative y is less than negative x minus 2. So again, I have to divide by a negative 1. And that's going to give me a y is less than positive x positive 2. Whoops, I forgot to flip my sign around. So let's change that. So now I can go ahead and graph them. But this line is going to be a dashed line. And I'm going to shade above. So when you graph it, make an XY here. The first one, or second one, the dashed line, we'll do that one first. I'm going to start up at positive 2, and then go up 1 and to the right 1. Go up 1 and to the right another one. We could go backwards. So that's going to be our dashed line. There we go. That looks pretty good. Then the other one starts at negative 1. The slope is positive 4. And remember, you can put that over 1. So I'm going to go up 4 and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. I hit that same point. Could do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1 more. It's going to be about there. I could go backwards if I want to. 2, 3, 4 to the left 1. This line is going to be solid. Okay, a nice perfectly straight line. Looks great. So this one's going to shade. So we're going to be above both of the lines, right? We're above the solid line. We're above the dashed line. We're above both of them. So the only spot where that both of them are above is right here. So everything above that, both of those lines will get shaded in. Okay, so that's that. If you got questions, ask them. Remember, when you're solving the systems of equations, um, if the lines don't cross, okay, then they will have no solution. I think there's one where they will be no solution. If they don't cross, they're going to have the exact same slope. Okay, so be a little bit careful. But if you got any questions, let me know.